Hi.
Hi everyone.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
Yeah, we are live.
Hi.
Welcome to the 8 Under the Sun podcast. Today we are joined by
We know.
the triple winner of the national competition in 2007, 2009, and 2011. A double absolute winner of the international competition Morski Festival Guitar in Slovenia. Also, a double winner of the Mauro Giuliani competition in Gorizia, Italy. None other than the 2022 GFA winner,
This might take a while.
Lovro Peretti.
Wow.
We said it would be a humble
Yeah,
introduction.
we said
Yeah, it's
something.
something discreet.
I
Sounds
think,
really good,
I
yeah.
think
This
Seb
was
didn't
important.
get
Yeah.
the
It's very
assignment.
Thank you, Seth.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
He sometimes do the presentation for NBA players, and yeah, so he just
Yeah.
agreed for.
Sounds like
for
a
us
boxing
to come
match.
there. Yeah.
What was I
We
doing?
should explain why the other guest is not here yet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
Do
Who
you?
wants to start?
Will you?
So yeah,
Marco
you're
is
probably the best to say because you were there.
I was there. So Marco had a concert. He plays as a soloist with the Ashram Orchestra for his soloist master degree, and he's still waiting for his result. So he's still at school.
It's funny to just think that he's having a master degree now.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's doing an exam, like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like-
It's
because he
like
hasn't been tested enough.
But
Yeah,
it's not
he
his
made
first master degree, right?
I don't know.
Or is it?
Is it?
That would be funny
Yeah.
because
I
he's. I
actually
mean,
don't know. We have to
obviously.
ask him.
Do you think he has the level to have it? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe he won't have it. It's,
Let's see if he'll pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still
Let's
waiting
see.
for the results, so we'll know
Yeah.
in a bit, maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have Lovro for the moment, and we will start with Lovro.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Welcome,
we were about
Lovro.
to introduce what Marco did just because he just played a few
Mhm.
minutes ago. But you came here in Geneva to play some music, to some concert, no? Isn't it?
No, not
No?
for concerts. No, you mean?
Yeah, those
no.
days.
So basically for some rehearsals. So
Oh, okay.
what's happening? Actually, it also includes Marco, just because next week, so in Koblenz Festival, which a lot of people are, I guess,
Yeah.
familiar with,
Yeah.
who are watching. Judy Kael, our teacher, my former teacher, actually, still kind of teacher,
Still got it.
and
Quite admired as
Marco's
well.
teacher and all of our teacher. He plays a concert, and this year is a special year, so they're making a special concert where he will have guests.
Okay.
So it will also be me, it will be Marco, and it will be Rafael.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And all of us will play also. All of us will play a short solo portion of the program, and also then each of us will play a small duo with him, with Judical.
Oh, I
Okay.
didn't know that. That's cool.
And yeah, that will be fun. So basically, that's why I'm here. Yeah.
Okay.
So I just finished my tour for the GFA. So I basically came directly from the States here before coming to Croatia. And yeah, and also another reason is that it's always nice to come here because I have a lot of friends here.
Yeah.
And it's great to come here and hang out. So it was another reason.
Cool.
For how
So
long you
basically-
haven't been home now with the tour and everything?
Since beginning of January, very beginning of January. So 4 months pretty
Quite
much.
a long time.
Yeah.
Is
4
it
months.
the first time that you are on tour that long? It's
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
first time and probably the last time. I think it's never. No, I mean it's.
So you
it's-
loved
it. Sounds
it.
bad to say, huh?
So you loved it.
I don't know. Actually, I did love it. Yeah, but it's bad to say. It sounds bad to say, but I think no one really does 4 months. At least with classical guitar, no one really does a 4
Exactly.
Yeah,
month
it's a
tour.
lot.
yeah.
If you do a tour, it's 1 month, maybe a month and a half, maybe 2 months, but no one really does 4 months. So it's a unique experience, and it was really, really nice. And
Yeah, we would actually want
Yeah.
to talk a bit about that.
Yeah.
yeah,
Nothing that we ever experienced ourselves, and we were just curious, like, how was it overall? And
hmm
I don't know.
How did you feel about?
So it was definitely, I mean, obviously something very new to me. And I was worried at the beginning before I started the tour. So it was divided in 2 parts. It was 3 months, September to December, 1 month at home in December. So it was broken into 2 parts. So that
Mhm.
was good. and then another month in another part, 4 months, January to April, as I said. So it was very long. Altogether, you could say 7 months, 7-8 months it lasted altogether. And it was, since it was long, I was at the beginning kind of worried how it will go, if I will feel, even though you meet a lot of people, I was worried if I will feel lonely.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other hand, I was thinking that I could feel like overwhelmed
Yeah.
and actually on the opposite side, that I would feel that I meet too many people and that I would want to be a bit alone at some times. And actually it ended up being really in the middle.
It
It's
was
kind
balanced.
of, yeah.
Mhm.
It wasn't lonely because of that, because I was all the time with some people. Also, I would meet from time to time people that I knew from before, and I would meet new people, and I would always feel very welcome, and it's just a really good experience. And also on the other extreme, I wouldn't feel overwhelmed, because also there were sometimes I would stay with some people in someone's houses, and just all the time be with someone, have a full program. And then there were some times where I would just stay at a hotel, and it would be good for that reason. It would be like I would have a long time.
Yeah.
that would be good.
How many
It's a good
concerts
band.
were there exactly? Like 50? No?
Not 50, a bit less. So it was around 43 or 44 in the end. I'm
That's not too
not
much.
even sure exactly. It's still a lot of concerts. So some years they had over 60 concerts even.
Okay.
So this
you were
year it
lucky.
was a bit less, but to be honest, I think it was still a lot, and I felt it was just right amount of concerts to have also some time to visit places.
It
and
must
was
be
really
the effects of coronavirus or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think even last year's winner, Bokyang, I think that she had even slightly less. Okay, she had also a specific situation where she lives in US and she's teaching in US, so she was traveling. She was actually not on the tour. She was constantly traveling.
Oh, wow, that's
Back and
very
forth.
tiring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So partly because of that, but I think in general also because of COVID, everything is slowly still picking up after COVID and kind of getting back. So because of that, yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask
Mostly.
you, beyond the concerts, you also gave master classes,
Yep.
right? Yes. And
Yeah.
how's
Not
that?
in
Do you-
every place, but yeah.
Yeah, but okay, but a couple of them, I guess. Yeah. So how do you feel like, if you feel any difference when you speak about the guitar scene, the guitar community in America, and for instance Europe, which is
Mhm.
where you play the most and where you were at the most?
Mhm.
Do you feel any big difference between let's say, United States and Europe
Not
in terms
really.
of mentality or like
Not
maybe
really a
playing?
big difference, but some differences, yeah. It's just different. So basically, yeah, as you said, I'm not really used. It's my practically the first time in the States.
Mhm.
Before I've been to compete, and also I've only been to compete, yeah. And
That's it.
pretty much.
Okay.
And what's different is that they have. It depends also where, because in Europe it's so diverse. You have different countries and you have different systems. I can speak for Croatia the best because I'm Croatian and I grew up in this system. And we have this system where you start it's very available to everyone, and you start very seriously from the early age, and it's free basically for everyone. So I would say a lot of people, a lot of kids, a lot of parents put kids to these music schools where you start very early. So the thing is that even though Croatia is a small country and we don't have a lot of people, we have just statistically we have more people, bigger percentage of people of those small that small number of people playing, and then therefore I guess playing good. I mean, I'm not saying that the states are huge country, a lot of people, so it kind of comes to a similar thing, but there it's just that it's harder to start when you're younger, and you can feel that, and I think that's slightly changing also on both sides. It's changing, it's kind of meeting in the middle. In Croatia it's becoming more like in the States, and in States I guess there are more and more programs where you can start young. So basically, to answer your questions, with master classes, there are not maybe as many very young kids who are maybe necessarily as good as in Europe in average, but there are a lot of good students, and of course it depends on the city, on the program, and on all of that. And of course, everywhere you have some individuals, regardless of the program. But yeah, it's interesting actually for me more to compare not so level of guitar in general and individuals, but more the educational system. This is what matters. This is what's very important.
And the audience, is it different? Is it a lot of people
For
go to
concerts.
concerts for?
It's different in a way
classical
that
guitar?
yes, it's I would say it's around the same,
Okay.
but it's just different again how it's achieved, because they have a lot of these guitar societies, which are non-profit organizations, which work in a slightly different way, just logistically. And here you have a lot of the state is kind of supporting the government, and everything is more supporting culture. So it's basically more paid through taxes. Now I'm very technical.
It's more of a
But,
capitalistic way in
huh?
the States. More of a capitalistic way in the States.
Yeah,
that you're
actually,
cutting in,
it
yes.
is, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is not necessarily good or bad way. It's
Mhm.
just
Yeah,
different.
no,
It's
mostly.
organized in a different way. So basically, yeah, they have more of that, and you can feel it in certain way. But actually, for me, just from seeing it from this side, playing a concert, it's kind of the same outcome. So
Yeah,
it's kind of the
Obviously.
same thing. And for example, last summer, now to jump, I was playing in China for the first and only time. That I could say it's a bit different. They have this different
It's-
culture of bigger halls and a lot more people actually coming to the concert. I'm not
For
sure.
example, how much compared to USA?
I guess it also depends, but it's just not much more.
Mm.
But it's the scale is just it is bigger.
There's also a lot of
I
people in
played
China.
in only two places.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
It seems to.
That
Yes.
is true. That is true.
Well,
I don't
no,
know
was-
exactly what that I can't know. For the States, I guess I can say a bit more because I was there for a long time now, and I was talking to people. But there, I didn't really talk to people that much about it, so I couldn't tell exactly. It's just the culture, I guess. It's just the
I've heard that for piano, they try to do piano that produce more sound, or because they are used to play in a huge in front of a huge audience.
yeah.
So maybe they want to adapt. Were you sometimes amplified or with these big places or
In
like-
China or in the States?
Yeah, I mean
In China,
Both.
I
Yes.
mean both times. I was playing in two places,
Yeah.
and it was amplified.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and for a bigger hall, and it's just
It makes
yeah,
sense.
Yeah.
it makes sense. Yeah.
Was it good? Or did you feel good with it?
Yeah, I
on
felt good
stage?
with it. Yeah. I mean, guitar as a guitar, it's kind of feels always for us, I guess, we can all agree to some extent. It's nice to have big audience, but it's nice also to have this kind of intimate feeling. I think not just guitarists, any instrumentalist would agree with that it's nice to have kind of that you feel connected to the
Yeah,
audience
sure.
and to the individuals in the audience. Sometimes to see people maybe in the first row and kind of to have a feeling that you're playing for
Yeah.
them.
You can see the reactions a bit. You can.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can feel it a bit more. Yeah.
Right.
So they were like in the States, you had like different types of concert halls, or it was kind of the same, like for I
It
don't know,
was-
100 of people.
It was very different. It varied from anywhere. Some societies were only starting, and it's perfectly normal that they still don't have big audiences. So it would vary from anywhere from 30 people, which is very small audience, obviously.
Yeah.
And also it in the defense of those people who had a lot, not so much people. It very much depends on many things, like on the weather, on the time of the week, on so many things.
Yes.
Like with organizing, you never know. Sometimes
And yeah,
you do everything
in the
and
city.
it doesn't work.
and maybe it's
Mm.
related to how much they
In the
put effort
city.
to
Exactly. Then
Yeah.
advertisement and everything, but
Yeah.
and then the biggest audience would be a bit over 200, like 230, which
it's
yeah,
cool
it's
for
it's
guitar.
good for guitar. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I
Mhm.
don't want to downgrade guitar. That it's like good for guitar,
It's
but
good for guitar.
I mean, it's good in
it's
many
actually,
ways.
yeah.
It's just more than that. Maybe it's a bit tricky to play
yeah,
because
yeah,
they
yeah.
will be very far from you.
In a
And
way,
then,
yeah.
and you can feel the noise sometimes if they are if they
True.
feel not connected with you, they can
True,
start
true,
to
true.
move
It's
and-
harder to connect. This
Yeah.
is the thing. What I was saying about smaller hall, intimate, and it's nice to have this feeling that you feel every member of the audience. It's closer. If it's a big hall, of course, you can feel someone in the last row of a big hall. So it's kind of like that, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And it would vary. Sometimes it would be like a really big hall that seats. I think even there are some halls which would seat literally 2,000 people, which. And then sometimes you would have like 200 people in a 2,000 seat hall, and it feels really
weird.
empty and
Yeah.
very weird. And then you would have, I'm just saying for example, 70 people in 100 people seat. It
Yeah.
would feel really great. It's full. So there is something also to this, that it
Yeah.
feels full or not
And the
full.
sound is adapted for this. Actually.
The sound does
Yeah.
vary according to the
Yeah,
quantity
of
of people you
course.
have. So I mean,
Even
that's
though
for sure.
it's not always how you would expect it to be.
Okay.
So basically, very recently, where was it? I can't remember. It all got mixed up. But it was a big hall, and generally you wouldn't expect from a big hall that it sounds good. But this one was a big hall, and it sounded really good, at least from the stage. It sounded like really, like not too echoey, not too too much of reverb, but also not dry. So it felt great. And then from the audience, I got feedback that it sounded perfect, that the hall is amazing.
That
And it's
was in
huge.
China? No.
No, that was in the States, summer,
States.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
But yeah, you just wouldn't expect it,
It was
from a
such
big
a
hall.
great experience, and you cannot remember the place
Yeah.
where it was.
I mean,
Fantastic.
48
Did you make
concerts.
mistakes?
In general, I'm really bad
When you
with
say
memory.
hi everyone from Chicago, and you were not in Chicago.
Ah,
No,
in
it
New
didn't
York.
happen. No, no, no.
That's
That
good
didn't
start.
happen. That's yeah. Maybe it would have happened if I was changing places, like these guys who did like 60 concerts or more in a
Yeah.
very short time.
Yeah.
For me, actually, in average, I was counting. It was one city per every 5-6 days, so it wasn't really too frequent, too intense.
Yeah, cool. It's a bit
maybe
calm.
4 or 5 days, or every 5 days.
And I'm just wondering, you were always playing the same repertoire, right?
Pretty much, yeah. I was also talking to some of the previous winners, as I have some friends who did the same thing, and I was talking to them, and I was pretty sure that I will really want to change the program by the end of the tour, and just because it's a lot of concerts, and I already
Yeah.
feel normally after playing it for a few concerts that I feel kind of already tired with the program, and it's to some extent, with some pieces at least, and some pieces I played for years. I just felt like comfortable to have something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And what I wanted to say, I lost my point.
Playing the same program.
It's
Yeah.
playing the same program.
Playing the same
over and
program,
over.
and I was sure that I would change it by the half of the tour, and I was sure that by the end of the tour I would change at least half of the program. In the end, it didn't happen. Also, I was during the tour then meeting some people who were former winners, and they were telling me also, yeah, I thought the same, and actually I played the same program throughout the whole tour, and I realized that it's really good. And then I also realized it's actually really good because, I mean, it's great to play in different places, and it's great to have a chance to experiment with our program and all of that. But also for me, I'm for the first time in the States, and also meeting all of these people. And it's good to for all of these people. I think it's interesting to hear, because for me maybe it's all the
Yes.
same, but for them it's anyway new. So I'm doing a good
That was your
Thing for the
motivation
people.
in a way.
yeah, exactly. And for me also it was good because I could practice less, because also when you play the same
But you
program, you don't
I've
want
heard
to
that you don't
practice it
practice
anymore.
that much.
In general.
In general, how much do you practice? We have.
We have
like,
proof. We can
yeah.
call
Yeah, we
your
can call.
previous roommate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't
that-
want to
that's
answer
true,
for you,
yeah.
but
You don't need actually
Just be honest.
to work that much.
It's not that I don't need. So basically, it sounds really bad when you put it that way. in
No,
a way.
I mean,
No. I
You play that
he,
well.
yeah, he did it on
without-
purpose.
So
It's the opposite.
some people, I don't want to give the wrong message to people that
Don't
like don't
practice.
practice and it will be fine. I practiced a lot when I was younger, so there are a lot
Okay.
of people which just started kind of later. I did practice a lot. I started very early, very seriously. I had
Okay.
my first teacher was very serious, and I started when I was 8. 7, 8, 9, 8, 8, I guess.
Seven,
And
eight,
Seven
Yeah.
and a half. Yeah.
7 and a half,
Yeah.
15.
7, 8 months. And it started pretty seriously. So
How much did you? I mean, at what age did you practice the most? You would say.
That's a good question. Probably after 4, 5, 6 years since I started, I
Okay.
guess.
And then you could spend
4, 5, 6 years after I started.
Okay. Then how much
And-
time would you, for example, the most that?
And again, it's not even that ever I really practiced a lot. I just always had a lot of, my parents put me to a lot of different things, and I was just very active. I had also always some sports. I did swimming, I did taekwondo, and I did skiing at some point. I'd always, and then also a lot of out of school activities in school. Like I was good at mathematics and some other things, and I was always having a lot of things.
Oh,
I think that helps you just being active and being more efficient. I feel I was back then, as a kid, I was more efficient than I am now, because now I'm more relaxed. I don't have many things to do. With guitar, I guess I learned to be efficient. I mean, I have to be.
you
Because
were,
if I'm not mistaken,
Mm-hmm.
I think you once told me that you were quite undecided between being a guitarist and being doing something with mathematics. Am I wrong? Yes.
Kind of, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I always knew that I was always much better at guitar than mathematics, but I was always good at mathematics. I never put in a lot of time in mathematics as much as in guitar. So basically, but I knew that if I wanted to, I could do also mathematics. What was attracting me with mathematics is kind of, with guitar, I mean, it's for me actually what at the time was distracting me from mathematics is now from guitar is now actually why I want to do guitar. I realized basically it was with in general our music and everything. If you don't know what exactly you want to do, it's not as certain and as stable as you maybe want it to be, and as a common job is. So
Yeah.
basically, with other professions, it's very straightforward. Like where you're going, what you will do, more or less. I mean, there are differences, of course. With guitar, there are very different paths, and it can be very free in a way. Like also working hours, it's not 8 hours a day. You can do it in a way that you want. Some people do more than 8 hours a day. But the thing is that you're mostly not fixed, except if you're teaching. But even if you're teaching, then it's less hours mostly, and then doing something on the side. It's more free. It's kind of more how you arrange it. And
And you used to be scared of that.
I used to be scared of that, and basically I wanted to I was thinking maybe it's better to have something more stable, something more like that. And actually now I exactly like the opposite. I don't want that really...
Stability.
Not stability. I like the stability,
Yeah,
but
of course.
I like the not having a routine, not having every day the same, and even at the cost of maybe not necessarily having a stability
Yeah.
that I would maybe have with some other profession.
But
Sure.
you can have it with teaching. Do you teach or?
Yeah,
do
exactly.
you
I
think
can
of
have it with teaching. So basically, last year I wasn't teaching because of the tour. Year before that, I didn't teach because I knew that I would have to stop because of the tour. And before that, I was studying in here for 2 years. So, and before that, I was always studying. Before actually coming to here, I was teaching for a year. But yeah, and now I still don't have anything arranged. But I imagine that from fall I will try to start
But you're
teaching
coming
somewhere.
back now to Croatia, right?
To
For
Croatia,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
You want to
It's
teach
not-
in Croatia or?
Ideally, yes, I would love to teach in Croatia, but it's not necessarily in Croatia. I would
Mhm.
be willing to move. It very much depends, like on the... I don't have it exactly fixed, like
Okay.
that it has to be in Croatia.
But
It
in
depends on the
university,
opportunity.
Did you want in university?
Ideally,
or just-
I would love that, yeah.
Okay, that's
I
what
would
you're
like, yeah.
aiming for.
I like both. I also
Yeah.
like teaching in schools, like kids. Everything has its own advantages and what I would love about it. But I feel that I would enjoy slightly more teaching, I guess, at the university, just because I feel that I could maybe help personally, and that I could help a bit more students that are in university than students who are just starting with guitar.
Yeah.
So that I just feel more useful for that I would be, at least.
And
And
you are
I've never
maybe more-
really tried it, but yeah.
With the masterclass that you give, you're maybe more used to do that actually than
Mostly
giving-
yes.
Yeah.
Even though I did give much classes to children who just started, but even the children it would never actually be children who really just started. It would be some kids who were playing for some years and who already would play relatively good.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Prodigies.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah,
Were
so for
you a
those-
prodigy? Like you were very fast to be very good, or
I guess it
Did
was
you
a
keep-
combination of the two. I had, as I told, really good teacher who was really serious and who could direct me very well in whatever I wanted to do. But I guess, of course, it wouldn't work if I wasn't, first of all, everything kind of
yeah?
worked out together. I had parents who were supporting it very well. I had obviously good conditions, like from the beginning. I had relatively good guitar, and very soon after 3 years, I think I had also, so I should give some background. My older sister was playing guitar, 3.5 years older, and she already became kind of more serious about guitar. So
Okay.
because of her, partly, I had luck to have a good instrument very early. So it was after her 6th year of studying guitar. So it made more sense. It's kind of more common that after 6 years you get a good instrument. But for me, it was after 3 years. And I think it very much helps actually for the very young student, even like very young, you think he's not playing a good program, I don't know. But I think it helps for just getting motivation and just developing more quickly with the sound and everything. And that helps a lot. So basically conditions, then good teacher, and then I guess also I just had a good sense for.
And your
doing
parents
that.
were very supporting.
Very
They were
supportive,
not
yeah.
saying like you shouldn't do music, shouldn't play music as a professional. They were
No, actually they were very supportive of
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's
This is not
very
most-
important. It's
yeah.
not always the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Did your parents or did not support at start?
Yeah,
they
I
did
curious.
actually.
they did
Yeah.
from the very beginning.
Yeah.
They supported.
And you all
Yeah.
started very early, right?
I started
about
at
this-
9.
Yeah,
No?
9, 8, 9.
It
So,
wasn't.
the
It
same.
wasn't my case, but it's.
You
okay.
started.
No, they
They
didn't.
didn't
Not
support?
all. Not both of them were very supportive. Let's just say that. But yeah, I need to develop. But it's.
But were they interested in classical music or music in
Yes.
general?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I mean,
In this way, they were a bit supportive because they cared about music.
yes.
Maybe
Let's say
not the
that there
fact
was
you-
one of them that was quite supportive. The other one was not at all.
Okay.
That's. But it's okay. And yeah,
That's
I mean,
funny. It doesn't normally happen. I mean, it's not
What?
a common case. That parents are
Yeah,
disagreeing
normally
on that.
They talked about it.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
would say, I don't
Weird
know.
parents. No, I don't know.
My parents, they knew nothing about classical music. So
Mhm.
even when I started, I didn't know what I was doing. They didn't know what I was doing. And at some point later, they just saw that I was dedicated to that, so they would support me. But they didn't ever
Yeah,
know
that's
what
a
I
very
was
common
doing
case,
until
yeah.
like
Okay.
even now they're still trying to understand.
Yes, that's a bit the thing when you don't have musicians on your family. They really
Yeah,
they have
I was
no
the
idea where
first
you
musician,
are
yes.
and what you do. And
That's very true. But for example, my parents were not musicians. My dad was he liked classical guitar. He didn't really know much about classical guitar, but he knew a bit. But they both learned a lot. Now they know, I would say, more of the repertoire and everything, more about classical guitar world. They know the names and everything, more than an average maybe high school in Croatia
Mhm.
guitarist
Okay.
who is kind of involved, who likes guitar and who studies guitar. So the point is they know a lot.
Hmm.
And
Mm.
yeah,
I don't
they were
think
just
my parents
also
do still.
they do.
No,
They don't.
I don't teach them enough.
Yeah, that's the
No,
thing.
no,
Also, it's partially because this first teacher that I was telling you about. So at the time, YouTube started. So YouTube started in 2005. I started in 2008, I guess. 2003, sorry. And so it was kind of beginning. It wasn't very developed at the time. But he was giving us every week basically 1 or 2 CDs, and he had a huge library of CDs.
Wow.
And my parents would support that in a way. My dad would copy it. Like, it's maybe not good to tell, but
It's just the question of,
Yeah, police is watching us.
the value that you give to this way to learn the guitar or any instruments. If they, for example, my mother, she's not a musician, but she was like very interested, and she always cared about this. So she wanted me to do good. Like she was supportive and trying to make me work when I didn't
Exactly,
want.
yeah.
It's just this. Maybe it's easier when there are musicians too, but it's not this. It's just if they care and if they are there to support. I mean, with my students, for example, I can see the difference between not the good and the bad students, but the one that make a lot of progress and the one that doesn't. It's mainly the parents that make the difference. If
that
they
are
want to
involved or
hear,
not involved,
listen
yeah.
to them.
Yes.
They try to even if they don't know. For the beginning, it's pretty easy to understand what is happening. If they want to be involved, they can. They can learn with their child. Actually, it's very easy. And some they just say, I can't, I don't know. So I just tell him to work, but they are not there.
Yeah.
Really.
They
Yes.
don't even feel capable of helping.
Yeah, but
Even.
yeah, and when you say it doesn't, that they can actually, it's very easy actually. They can learn very much faster than their child. So it's just a question of, is it something just like you will do football or I don't know what, but without any goal, and or just it's music. You have to practice. You have to respect the teacher. You have to they value this. It's the main difference, I would say.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's the thing, and it's basically like all of these components, as many of them align kind of together and are good, the better. I mean,
Yes,
and
sure.
I think parents are definitely maybe even the single most important component.
even more than
in
the teacher.
Maybe even more than the
Maybe even
teacher.
more,
Yeah.
In the beginning, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
In the
Yeah.
beginning,
In the
for sure, yeah.
And later on, because they're your children's most
I value
important
my
role
mother
model.
more than Judical would say. I mean, no, I'm kidding. No, maybe
Judical,
more
if you're
Judical.
watching.
Judical is great, but my mom. Yeah.
She's,
No, but it's actually true to some extent. Yeah, Judical would agree.
Yeah. Is it like because you started so early? I think I remember correctly that you don't really need to warm up. Is that the case? You don't really feel like the physical need to warm up because you're so used to.
So also I should add that even though it's just my personality, I think that I would play better and I would have be more secure and more kind of clean player and more secure if I would practice more. It doesn't need that if I don't practice more. I'm aware of the cost that it
but you feel happier,
brings with
maybe.
it.
You feel happier this way, not to practice.
I do actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can tell that. Yeah,
You feel this balance
Yeah.
in your life.
I feel that.
And apparently it's good enough just to
I'm
be very
pretty
good.
sure
Apparently,
if
yes.
I practice more, I would play better if I practice more. Yeah.
But I mean,
And it would be more secure, and sometimes I don't have like the best day and it's not the best concert. I mean, always with anyone, even the people who play a lot, who practice a lot, maybe if they practice even a bit more.
but
they
maybe
would- they
you
would
will
play
want to stop because you don't like. If you don't want to practice every day for hours,
Because
then
I don't know if you ever had that feeling. I don't know if you ever had that feeling, but maybe sometimes when you really do practice a lot a piece,
Yeah.
although you're practicing it for the physical and motor aspect of the piece, maybe you actually get a bit tired of playing it and you start losing a bit the musical taste for it.
Absolutely, I felt that a lot. For example, this was a good
exactly.
good time to experiment with these things in these
Especially
having
on
a
this
lot of
tour,
concerts.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And actually, probably the best concerts that I felt the most comfortable with were not the very last one, but the 2 or 3 before the last one. For example, for some reason for the last one I was kind of stressed, but for the 2 or 3 before, I was very 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 relaxed, and I literally. It's not a good example, but it's a very specific situation. I literally between concerts didn't touch guitar, I didn't open the case, and it would be like sometimes 2, 3, 4 days. I would come 1 hour before the concert to try out the whole. I would play for this 1 hour. I would try to really, and it would work really well. I think I would play really clean, and I would think what you said, I would be more involved in music. Because imagine like playing 40 times.
No, exactly. I mean, I mentioned once in the podcast I had with Sikas as well. I mentioned once that, I mean, it's not about. Of course, the practicing a lot gives you probably maybe motor and physical safeness, you know, when it comes to playing technically clean.
And memory,
but you do,
depending on what you do with memory.
Yeah, exactly. But you do like play it so many times that you kind of start losing a bit the passion that you had initially for the piece.
Absolutely.
And that's something that in a high level, it's absolutely, people can absolutely tell if you're like playing it a bit by habit, you know, or if you're actually enjoying it and if you're doing it at concert.
And it's after the competitions. I mean, will you ever do other competitions now? Maybe not. Yeah, it's a bit not relevant.
Most probably. I don't plan to.
Yeah. Okay. So
never say never. But
for years you did. How many years did you do competitions?
So the thing is that also what contributed I think the involvement and in everything and improvement in my playing. When I was younger, I did a lot of youth competitions.
Okay.
And basically I would really recommend it to anyone as long as you see that the kid is not like that, it's not really kind of doing a good thing for like the
psychos,
mental focus and everything. And if it's, I don't know, it's very individual. But for me personally, I think for the most kids, it's the case kind of. As long as you present it in a good way, it's a really good thing. By what do I mean by present it really well? I mean that basically that you explain that it's not about winning the first place or anything. I mean,
it's nice.
It kind of is about reaching that goal. But the thing is that just to have something beside your normal goals and normal, like, I don't know, final exam in school or whatever, as long as, of course, you see that the kid is kind of capable and willing to do something more than that, it's just a deadline and goal to do something more and to compete with other kids which are also trying to do something more. So basically I did a lot of these youth competitions. It worked out very well because I was getting good feedback and I would go to harder ones, and I did a lot when I was younger. Then I started my studies in Zagreb in Croatia, where I feel it was very important for me. It was a very crucial part of my learning because it was really, really, really good. I had a great teacher and I learned really a lot. The thing is that how the studies were organized, it was a bit not really favorizing it was not in favor of doing competitions, just because I was learning a lot of new program, which I think is really important for now, because I can learn easily new program and I can do it, I think, well, without any guidance or anything, and I have
good sight reading,
also sight reading and everything like that, and I think it's really important. However, it's not good for competitions because you had on the same time some other people in some other places who were studying and who did, I don't know, 40 minutes, 45 minutes of program per year, which is not a lot. And if you repeat 45 minutes of program per year and you just practice that, and you will end up playing it great and you will just work in detail. We would also work like that, but with smaller program, and then we would just pump the other, like a lot of program quantity, basically. Also quality, but it sounds like only quantity. Both. But quantity kind of prioritized, I guess. Anyway, what was the point? That I went through that, and because of that, I didn't do that many competitions. And the ones that I did, I actually wasn't that successful at. I would not be like terrible, but I wouldn't be first, or I would sometimes not even reach the final.
You just needed time to apply what you learned, maybe? Getting used to?
It's just that really I would feel that it's the time invested in a small program.
Yeah.
Really.
Okay.
But I think that later on, it really was useful in a way that basically later on I got maybe more experience and knowledge in that way than I would get in a way that if I did much less program. Because I don't know, in average I think I would do hour and a half or hours of program per year for 5 years, which is a lot of program, like 10 hours of program almost, if not 10 or more. And some other people would literally, I know in some other places, I don't want to name places and don't want to say that it's necessarily bad. It's good in another way. So you get something, you lose something. It's always a matter of compromise. But in some other places, you would literally in 5 years do, I don't know, 2 hours of program, not even, which is 5 times less. So for that part, I think that I got a lot from this place. And I think only after I started to do more, and because of that, after I think I got more. Then after I got to first to Lille for student exchange with Judical, and that helped a lot. Basically in that year, I didn't learn almost any new program. I was doing the program that already I did last year, and it was exactly perfect for that, for perfecting the program that I did. And then in Geneva, I did new program, but not also as much in these 2 years as I did per year in Zagreb. So also it kind of worked out for that.
How do you feel
for
now?
competitions? And then I did more, and then I was good at these competitions. And
How do you feel now that you maybe won't do any competition? And how do you feel with the program question? Because when you do competitions, you have to think about what will make you, being the best and please the jury. So it changed now. How do you feel about this? Free?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting with the program. Not really free. Actually, it shouldn't be like that, but it's kind of, we are always obsessed about what we want and also what we think that other people want. And then other people can be different people. It can be like audiences which are not musicians, audiences that are musicians, and then more specifically audiences that are musicians and guitarists. And of course, it depends for whom you will be playing in the end of the day. So basically also therefore for competitions or for concerts, it's different thing, I would say. So for competitions, I already kind of developed in a way a strategy, what I would choose for the program, for the competition. I'm not saying that it's like a ultimate strategy that everyone should follow. It was for me, I think what I thought that works the best. Maybe in general, maybe also kind of for me. And for example, just this is one of the examples. It would include more of the contemporary music, not necessarily contemporary, but more contemporary language music for different reasons.
Then
but
what we would do for
then what I would do,
yeah.
for example, now for the tour, I decided consciously that I won't include literally I didn't have anything in the program which was at all kind of contemporary
hard
language.
to listen to.
Towards the end,
yeah.
I did change one piece. It was only 5 minutes. For reasons that I have, and it was very. Yeah, I had arguments for that. I thought it's true, and So basically, I would kind of continue with that, even regardless of the tour. The tour was just because it's the same concert, but in different places. And I try to find a program which is interesting for me, which would be not very simple, like not very boring for other people, but it would be interesting also for everyone and also for me. Yeah. And actually, I got really good feedback. I think it was a well-concepted program, so
What did you play?
I'm very happy with it. So I ended up playing, because of that, doing something new and not maybe standard necessarily, again for different reasons, a lot of arrangements it ended up being. So basically I started with arrangements of Scarlatti, which is very common, and actually even the sonatas that I played are very commonly played, but arrangements are maybe not so common. I played first 2 arrangements by Carlo Marchione, Italian guitarist, who I also studied with kind of for a year in Lille. It was Judical and Marchione and Florian Larousse who were teaching, and so I had some lessons with him, and kind of then, but also in through other performances, I got to know his arrangements of Scarlatti, which I really liked and which are different maybe and more challenging, I would say, because he keeps more notes, and it's just it's really, really nice, and I think it's also interesting for guitarists, even who already heard these sonatas. It's interesting. So even though pieces are commonly played, it's interesting. So Scarlatti. Then I played some by Antoine Fouget, Tchaikovsky, short piece, like one piece from the Seasons, June from the Seasons. I played that, and that
available. They are available. On
I'm not sure. I think this
No.
one
They're
is
not.
not yet
they're not
available,
They're not
but
available.
it
Check
should be
this.
soon. So keep your
Fougeray
eyes
edition.
open for that. I think it's a really, really good arrangement, and it's beautiful music, and that was the reason, basically, like great arrangement, good music, and people would love it. It
Good
would also
enough.
be interesting for me, and then I played the set piece, which was a set piece for the competition that I did, and actually this was the only piece that I had to play, but I enjoyed playing it and people really loved it. It was contemporary in a way that it was written 2 years ago, but it was very very
Not that
people
hard
liked
to-
it, yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah.
not that hard to listen, exactly.
Yeah.
It wasn't contemporary in that way. Then I played a set of Barrios pieces. Barrios, who is not familiar with Barrios music, it's kind of our Chopin. Some people
Yeah.
would say it's like very romantic and very likable. And I try to still pick the pieces which are not commonly played by him, but still beautiful. So again, it's interesting to guitarists, it's interesting to other people. So it was in that way. Then I played piece by Tedesco, which is also not commonly played, but really beautiful music, Rondo. And then I played my own arrangement of piano piece, Brahms Intermezzo, which is really, I think people love it. Also, yeah,
Francisco loves
Yeah.
it.
loves it and plays it
Very
Very
well. Very well.
beautifully, by the way. And
did you listen to it?
I heard it once.
3 seconds.
Yeah, 15
Yeah,
seconds.
I saw the title.
Turn it
I
off.
saw the title.
Yeah. And what else? And then the last piece, again, 19th century piece, not so played by Dutch composer. So basically, music that is really nice to hear, I think, really interesting for guitar. I try to really cover, to satisfy everyone.
And not so famous, actually.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
we have a
right.
guest.
We have,
Hello.
we have
Yeah.
an expected guest.
It's fine. You just wait. He must be
Marco is
downstairs.
coming.
So we click on here.
You may consider this technical difficulties. Or not.
Yeah.
Or not.
We will have to change a bit the setting.
Yeah,
Right.
you have to
Hi.
come with
Right
us.
here?
Yeah.
I think it's best if Marco goes on the couch where you are going.
You're sure?
Just for the cameras, because then
Okay.
I can easily change
Alright.
between both cameras.
Okay.
So you just
I go there. Okay.
Yeah, you can,
Yeah.
yeah, you can just move over once.
Mhm.
Jacob, this.
How are we going to welcome him?
Oh, do you have your another presentation?
Pick up your sheets and let's do this.
Maybe.
Should we applaud him?
Yeah, we should upload him.
Ooh, you have a lute.
Yeah.
It's a
I
hook.
think you should.
It's
Ah,
hook.
really?
Yeah, but I don't know how
I
to
think
play
you
it.
should improvise something to welcome
Yeah.
him.
You should play something for his arrival.
It's getting in
Did you say that he had to take the first elevator?
I showed in the video.
Okay. I
I
hope
said
he-
in the video.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
Otherwise, our guest might be stuck in the elevator.
Yeah, it's
right
a
now.
possibility.
It's a possibility.
The end of a
Yeah, hope
beautiful
not.
day.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, we can continue. Maybe I don't know how long it
Yeah.
will take for him to go.
Yeah.
To move.
We are in the
Maybe
10th
he'll
floor.
walk up
Yeah.
10 floors.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are the 10th floor. If you were
Maybe
wondering.
You won't see.
We still don't know if he.
He managed
He'll
it.
see son examen.
Yeah, we should ask him. Yeah, we can hear the sound set.
Mhm.
Yeah, you have to turn it on.
Mhm.
It's
So this is the 5th episode. Fourth
yeah.
episode, yeah.
Fourth.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was
And
nice.
the
First one.
second with guests actually.
Yeah,
We had,
I know,
Judy
yeah.
Carter, the first one.
Yeah.
And then
So-
you guys.
Can you tell us something what we can expect in the next episodes? Give us some spoilers.
We will have some episode, not the next one, but Johan Smith will come.
Oh,
Yeah, in May
Okay.
or June, something.
yeah.
So, yeah, we have to adapt then. To
May or
my-
June.
Yeah.
And then
So
summer, you will do something. You will continue.
It will be a bit tricky. Maybe
Yeah.
like shorts, like we did. I mean, people don't see the live anyways. You just want shorts, so we can do shorts on vacation.
I
and
mean, you can do it on
So-
Zoom.
Yeah, but
Can,
yeah, we thought about this, but sometimes it's a bit low quality the sound. We try to do something. I mean, not every time we have the best quality of sound, but we try an image, but we try. And and you have the latency.
Delay,
Yeah, the delay between the questions and answers. But we have to think about
maybe
something
pre-record it.
That's the way we can do it, like talking on live, and then everyone on his side is
Mhm.
recording it, and then
Mm-hmm.
we will try.
I think Marco took the stairs.
Marco maybe took the stairs.
Maybe,
Yeah.
yeah.
We will see. I will try to see if I can hear him, maybe.
So when he comes, I can sit here. I can actually sit here right away.
I think.
Okay.
Were you asking if you could sit there? Were you asking if you could sit
Yeah,
there?
is it?
Is
No,
it
no,
more?
I don't care.
You
Yeah,
can,
I felt
you can
I felt I was
it's
the-
totally the same.
I'm good in here.
Okay.
I think we have Marco.
I think the Ukrainian boy is here.
It's just in time. We had 30 minutes with Lovro, and we'll have 30 minutes.
So you don't speak now, okay?
I can actually go.
So
Time
you
off.
can leave. No.
I'm really looking forward to hear what Marco. He has an interesting story for this concert. He
Mm-hmm.
just
For
did-
sure.
Yeah.
He said that.
Were
it
you
would
at the
be
concert?
No.
What?
Well, I was
No,
working.
explain yourself.
Yeah, I was working. I was working.
And Florian
Okay.
and Seb.
Just me.
I was
just
preparing
I was the
this
only
you're
one at the
having right
concert.
now.
I have kind of an excuse. I wanted
But
to
you
come.
don't have an excuse.
I don't have an excuse. Yeah.
And you
Excuse
can
was
sit just here.
drink.
Hey Mark.
Yeah.
There he is, big
Welcome.
man.
Bravo!
There he is.
I would like to thank the Academy.
All right.
Wow, such
Welcome.
a nice setting. Thank you for waiting.
It is.
We
didn't
didn't really
actually.
wait.
We
Yeah,
were
we
waiting for
just
you.
started. We're live right now. Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Does anyone have a beer as well?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I'll get a.
I shouldn't be drinking
Yeah.
because tomorrow I play the same stuff.
Yeah, so you should drink actually.
Have
That's
to play again. Yeah, it's in
Yeah.
Neuchâtel.
And it's so much more difficult to play
Okay.
again because like
I
it's
have
not
to
an
sit
exam
there,
anymore,
so-
but you still have to do
Is it also in the
Okay.
evening or afternoon?
So you can talk to the
I
mic.
don't remember.
or-
It's evening. It's evening and we take the bus from Neuchâtel.
But yeah.
From Genève to Neuchâtel.
Can you play what you did just on this?
Yes.
the full concerto.
It sounds very good.
Sounds very
I mean,
Bach-like. Yeah.
This is how Bach decided. Thank you.
Ah,
Okay.
It should have
Okay.
someone that plays bar music on ukulele, I think.
I think there is. Yeah.
Yeah.
At which
It's
point
very
of
fun.
the streaming are we right now?
30 minutes
We
in.
are
30 minutes in, I guess.
Yeah, quite a bit long.
What did you already manage to discuss?
Maybe
we just
the mic
finished, so
closer.
Okay, so
Closer
speak to
to
the
the
mic.
yeah, you can
sit
move it.
back.
If
Speak
you
the
want
mic.
to sit back, you can
Yeah.
put it this way. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
But they won't
perfect.
see you. They want to
Okay.
sit actually. You should sit here because
you should. No,
You will
You're
talk
the
now
star
more.
of the evening.
no,
Exactly.
They
You are
can
the star
see
of the
you,
evening, and
actually.
then later me.
We just have to lay back
We'll
a
just
bit
exchange.
Yeah.
because of the light.
I already talked.
So Lovro talked about his tour, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes.
And only in half an hour you managed to talk about the tour with
We
Lovro?
covered everything. Yeah.
He
pretty much.
really didn't say much.
He has so much more. He has so much.
He's a very discreet person.
50, really?
No.
I think it was. I think it was.
It's 11:50.
Wow,
5.
yeah, it was quite a long time.
Did you already ask him which is his favorite city? Which was his favorite city from the
No.
whole tour?
We actually didn't.
It's
City.
a good question.
I
Not
think
the
I asked
audience,
you
but just
that
like the vibes of the
firstly.
city.
Yeah.
In general, Vancouver. I really love Vancouver.
Yeah, exactly.
So the answer is still same.
It's
Favorite,
very
uh,
clear, yeah, for
Favorite
me.
city of states? I mean,
You also said from the states. You said Boston, right? Or something,
From the sides,
Portland
maybe
or something.
Philadelphia.
Ah, Philadelphia.
Oh.
that's
Actually,
okay.
similar kind of to Vancouver. I really like Seattle, where I didn't play, but I really liked it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But Philadelphia is really nice. Yeah.
Cool.
Fair enough.
Vancouver, I recommend going to Vancouver.
How do you feel, Marco? You just
I feel terrible.
Right.
I feel
You feel
absolutely
terrible.
terrible. Yeah, absolutely terrible.
very tired.
Okay.
I
Every
guess?
time
Sorry.
something like that happens, of course you know how many different ways could have there been to do this work. But also, you know, I hate making excuse.
No, that's it.
But at the same
Here
time-
comes an
but at the
excuse.
same
But here
time-
comes an excuse.
No, but at the same time, like really, like
Yeah.
basically the story is the Bach's concerto. A year ago, I applied with it.
Mhm.
A year ago, I was in a totally different mood. First of all, I have very wishful thinking, and I have this constant attempt to balance out, like whatever I think, whatever I want, whatever I can actually do. And of course, I've spent a lot of time kind of like, shaping this possibility. Like my whole GFA experience, for example, talks about basically that. I've always had, I wouldn't say, I always wanted to do something more out of this, I would say, guitar competition experience, from something for myself. And as a result, for, I guess, everyone else, because like there has to be something significant. And I decided to go with that.
Right.
But then the real life kicks in when you have to either travel, like work,
Yeah,
play concerts,
actually,
all that stuff.
Could you tell us exactly what you played and about this project of yours
Yeah,
to
give
the
us some
audience? Because
background.
the audience.
Yeah, my little project was applying with the concerto by Johann Sebastian Bach, a cembalo concerto D minor, which I found 5 days ago that it was a violin concerto before it was a cembalo concerto. So I
When
switched
did you
it
find
up
out?
5 days ago.
5 or 6,
I
29.
wasn't sure if I heard 5 years or 5 days.
5 days. I
So
would have been.
So you did a new version. Of
5 years before you
days
actually
ago?
If
arranged
this
it.
can be
Yeah.
called a new version, then yes.
I didn't know
Then
it's also
what
for
would you
violin.
call it?
I would call it just play from the violins course, which is simplified.
Okay.
It's like really, I don't know if it can be actually called a version. There's so much more work. I tried to visualize it in so many different ways. It's basically like you strip, let's say, the meat, and then the bone is like left. This is how I felt at some points. I made several steps of like rearranging this whole thing. First of all, Bach is kind of like considered untouchable. So it took me, I wouldn't say too long, but it was an interesting revelation to see the algorithms of like his composition and manner. I would dare to say that I don't think that this concerto is his most sophisticated piece, because there are some fugues that are just mind-bending in a way.
Yeah,
And
sure.
they are just a cascade of many voices that just, especially in slow tempos sometimes.
Yes, but
there's-
if I may ask you, then if you think this, why this concerto? Why did you? Because it's a huge project
Iconic.
to transcribe.
I think iconic. I think it's
Alright.
because it's iconic. I'm always looking for something that my memory will actually catch, because when it comes to particularly Bach, I do remember things that I've played. I remember some other extracurricular things, but in general, I see his art as a continuity, and it's difficult for me to differentiate or separate things. So I'm not implying that I have like low knowledge of his music, which is also partially true, but like precise, like this is, well-tempered clavier, prelude and fugue number 11, for example, that or that key, unless I really played it on the piano, which I didn't because I played other stuff. So basically I was always looking for something memorable, something very memorable for myself, because this is also the key to my productivity. Sometimes it may be directly the opposite. It actually can be something very obscure, underground in a way, and it can be charming in its own unique way. I would say that I might have just abstractly signed myself up so for some like unprecedented work. I really needed to amp up my workability, and this was my struggle, and at the same time effort, and
How was it?
You made it work in 5 days. How did you manage this?
Truth be told, there was some work before that, but it definitely is a big experience in just like basically takes the ground from under your feet, because before that, the whole thing was done with chords, with polyphony, all of these scale passages, they kind of like had a bass underneath. And then I decided to let it go, but you cannot just let a bass go and just like not play it. Actually, it like switches up the whole thing. I think that only we would understand that, because we kind of like deal with all that stuff. I've once again re-encountered that guitar is, I wouldn't say unfairly difficult, but it's like, because I also have really difficult time comparing it to other instruments. I've only played clarinet or piano, and not on the level to actually compare.
Clarinet.
Well, if Judical ever hears me say, for example, that I played clarinet, he will laugh, because he saw my examination. It was terrible. I was so out of tune. My experience playing clarinet was, first, your lips get tired. Then the lips don't work anymore, and your throat takes the action. Then the throat gets tired up to a point that you choke on air, because like it's just like super difficult to play in general.
Fun.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Fun.
every instrument has its own
Yeah.
challenges and
Yeah.
difficulties.
It's so difficult to play, without mistakes that the audience can catch. Actually,
My mind is completely captivated when I play. It's actually I noticed like sight reading is not easy, because I was reading from the scores. Thank you, Alice, for the iPad. It was a savior. And then it's not exactly easier. It just makes it more possible. It just makes it possible because when you refer to your memory, dig into your memory, it's like a totally different process.
And can you see like the notes that
Not
are printed
really.
into your eyes now because of looking the iPad?
The key is to actually somehow stuff this all into your head anyway. Because I've been, my first experience with the iPad, it made me spend like 4 hours just writing everything down until I realized that I have to erase almost everything before the rehearsal. I spent quite a lot of time erasing stuff.
Can't see the notes anymore.
It intervenes with the whole process, so it has to be a balance. But of course, work is key. I can just say I didn't work enough. So me working for quite some time, go to sleep at 8 in the morning, most of the time 8 in the morning, being heavily sleep deprived was still not enough. But there will be an improvement.
Have to know, did you get the notes?
Yeah.
exam?
Yeah, I'm just not gonna tell them to you. That's it. Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I'm gonna keep them a secret.
We will-
This secret will stay with me.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, 3.9. It's pretty low. It's really disappointing. It's really disappointing, but not for me because I think I've already realized that I wanted it to be a success, of course. I wanted it to be just good work. And it wasn't very bad work in my understanding in terms of like, I wouldn't consider it good work, but it wasn't very bad work in terms of, I wouldn't say that I passed the challenge because there were so many things to like perform better. But today was, for example, the worst rehearsal day that I ever had, like in these 3 days, because my brain just refused to play the first passage of the whole concerto. So while having to deal with all that stuff, you actually have to make things work. So in some ways, actually, Judika wrote me, you can learn something about yourself before the performance. Actually, he also tried to find a positive point in all this. Yeah, and
why did you practice like at the last moment of this?
it wasn't exactly that. It just took many stages. It just took many steps. I think I merged the 2 lines of the concerto together in MuseScore in December.
Okay.
And then it took me some time to just like edit things. And you know what? I actually told myself like a couple of weeks, 3 weeks before, for example, that had I started like me starting beforehand, is exactly the reason why I was super ambitious, because I was very maximalist and I wouldn't say perfectionist, but maximalist with the amount of stuff that I would leave there. First of all, I didn't want to touch too many things until I realized that it's just like not going to be realistically even possible, or would take me a lot of time. So let's say like imagine the piano partita by Bach that I play, and I would just like, you have to play on a higher intensity than that, but like for a longer time. So that's how it's supposed to go. When I was working on this concerto, like throughout this time, I was wondering whether it will ever end, because it just like keeps going all the time. It's one of the fewer exampals that I know that just keeps going all the time.
You don't really have a break,
I find resting points in the piano partita Bach, in the piano partita that I play. I don't play the whole partita yet though, but there is definitely a place where I can just like relax my mind.
Do you actually practice piano? I mean, actively.
Not anymore, because I had to like set it aside, and my interests actually shifted towards some guitaristic things, because within the guitar there's so much various stuff that you can do. So I would like to
not
split.
anymore. Since when? Until when?
Maybe a
Did
year
you-
ago I was still attempting to do some things.
So now with this project that you did, this arrangement, this concerto, do you plan it to play it again on the future, or to keep working
Tomorrow,
on it?
Neuchâtel.
Yes, well, beyond
I don't, you know,
to,
one of the reasons why I put myself into this very questionable situation, first of all, I wouldn't say that it's embarrassment, but in a way it's like you're playing before in front of professionals. Like it's either they think that you are unprofessional, or maybe just like rude, like I would say how's disrespectful.
Yes.
Yeah, so basically it's a big question of respect, and I try to acknowledge that as much as I can. So like my question of respect is like out of the table, of course, like with all due respect. There's still something in me, maybe I had like a split personality, like I would say another side of me, darker, lighter, brighter, I don't know, which chooses to go through these like extreme challenges in a very short time. And it's not that I try to do this deliberately. I actually try to take care, and I try to counteract
But you
with that.
have too many things to do, maybe.
Yeah, for example,
many
when I
plans.
arrived
But
from
these-
Japan after 2 weeks of
Yeah, that is-
travel.
it's not
But
like
these
you are not
challenges
doing anything.
kind of came naturally. It's because it's something you wanted to do it, you know,
I think
and
I think
it's just part of the personality.
Me trying to fit something really big in quite a fixed time frame that we all have.
But do you think
Which is
you
great.
work better under pressure?
I agree.
But
I
feel
totally
Yeah.
think so. I totally
Good.
think so. So I try to just balance out the negative outcomes of that thing, and I also try not to make it my work ethics. So one of my biggest how's it called, like, achievements with competition preparations when I stopped preparing pieces a week before the competition, just because there was one time when my mind rejected that I had to play the whole suite Venezolana by Antonio Lauro for the Pitaluga competition when I was 18. I was so shocked because I was busy with Sais por Derecho, which was a mind
You played it in a
twisting.
competition.
I had to play it in Pitaluga.
Like you had to play it.
I had to play it
Wait,
15 years ago.
really?
15 years
Sorry,
ago.
wait, the Penderecchio, the Antonio Lauro.
Antonio Lauro.
Okay.
Sais por Derecho by Antonio Lauro. I was completely taken
okay.
by this piece because it has many little turns, and I felt very compelled to memorize that, and I completely forgot about the suite Venezolana. And then I had 1 week, but at that level of maturity, I struggled to even make a waltz sound like a waltz. So basically, I had 1 week to learn these 4 movements, which is once again another 10 pages of stuff. But when I learned that I can do this, because I came, of course, from a point of not being able to switch things up. Like, I would find a new fingering, I couldn't do without it anymore. And it's only 2 weeks before the competition. But still, at the competition, I would have an aftermath because I changed the fingering and my brain is just like switching between the two. So I slowly came from there to maybe here when I'm able to more or less successfully drop things, just like, you know, because I cannot survive if I don't drop them.
Yes.
But there was a negative tendency, of course. Me
Sure.
understanding that I can kind of like learn things fast. And me understanding also, but me also using that to at least grow somehow. Because I think that there's a big lazy part of me that would otherwise just like be very... This illusion of well-being is like very captivating. It's very endearing. I love this. It's very comfortable. Sometimes I don't know if I have a depression or I just like to sleep for 14 hours.
Yeah.
And I feel very well about it. I'm like, you know, you have done something in this life. You can rest a little bit.
You
1
can.
month later, a few moments later, exam.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can actually.
Yeah.
Yes. So we already spoke with Lovro, so we have the pleasure of having 2 GFA winners.
We can interact
here.
now. We can interact.
But yeah, so we asked already about Lovro's experience and the tour. We also, congratulations for, of course, winning. But we also wanted to ask you, because you've done this competition actually quite a couple of times already for many years ago, right?
I think my first experience was when I was 21, maybe. I don't
Yes,
remember
exactly.
exactly, but
So now it's been more than 10 years.
Yes.
And we wanted to ask you, how do you think do you think there's a difference of the competition back then and right now, if
it's
there's
so
something that's
hard to
involved
tell.
in terms of competitors, of what the jury is looking for instance?
And
It
it's
is
interesting
so-
because you also evolved.
Yeah.
It's 20 years.
Because,
You said
Lovro-
2001.
No, it's not possible.
Yeah, it's not possible.
11.
But like when I was
Possible.
21, let's see, for 13,
It's possible.
12, 13 years.
possible.
You're not that
Yeah, of course it was possible.
It is possible.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
started very early with competitions. with
Yeah, because
professional
you,
competitions.
Lovro, you went 2 times, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And like 2 years in a row. But you went like...
Someone- Someone doesn't need to do. Yeah, I've been.
That's not what I meant.
I'm actually gonna be very honest. I've been purposefully using competitions for self growth because I know that they
That's
just
how it should be, yeah.
they just interfere with my brain.
How
They
many?
interfere.
How many did you win? Like 100?
Wikipedia says 55 or so. Like
You
I'm
don't know.
talking about.
It's how much it is.
Yeah,
Don't
but
even-
sometimes you
I
lose count,
know.
yeah.
50.
After
something.
20, it's just stop.
But even when it was 20, I tried not to look at it because I do remember the past experiences, but like it is I would say I take pride or happiness in all this because this is what sometimes you can turn to or refer to when you feel that you're a lazy ass that's not doing anything. This is something that you can actually help yourself with.
From my point of view, I wouldn't say that you are lazy. With
I
all
am
the
totally
things that
lazy,
you
and
do.
this is probably I don't know how it was done. But this was work. This was just
You
like
have to put
work job.
other people involved. It's what you have to do. Actually, to play for people, and you, if it's just for you, you don't feel that doing it.
It could be
that-
true, but then I remembered one of my childhood wishes to somehow I don't know why, but like I guess I was already coming in peace of probably becoming a musician, because I started guitar when I was 4. I guess like we just like roll
That's
with what
nice,
we have
yeah.
or something like
Yeah.
that. But I just didn't want to travel so much, and I just wanted to do this and be successful at it, and at the same time at no cost, at no like I don't know. I it's not that I thought about the exhaustion of touring or whatever. I was just thinking that I would like all that, but like quiet luxury, I would say.
Right.
Silent happiness.
So
Sure, but we,
Lovro said that he was probably not. He will not do any competitions after. Maybe
Yeah.
not now, at least. Maybe
I don't
there is no
plan. I
point.
never say never, but I don't
Yeah.
plan
For now,
on
you-
doing any.
Yeah, which is completely
It's
reasonable.
the same for you.
No, it's not the same.
You will compete.
it's completely reasonable,
already
but
done
I won't
so.
do it.
It's not the
I
same.
like that.
Yeah, it's not the same, and I really love this increase of stakes, because basically it's a huge risk, again, reputational risk and all that stuff. I think that I don't even I try to not think even about that. So I guess I'm trying to pick a demon that I would like to fight today,
Okay.
and then let it go towards fighting it. There's
Is there not any other ways than doing competitions to?
yes.
For example, if we don't do competitions, some people they don't want, they don't feel good about it, and then maybe for aesthetic musical reasons they don't want to do. And what can we do if we don't do this?
Oh, you can do everything else.
But for example, what would you say?
So many things.
Lovro, me?
Yeah.
Who is the first one? Lovro, maybe.
What would I say that you can
Yeah.
do other than, I mean, most common ways to do, I mean, obviously concerts, but concerts are not so easy to do, but competitions it can lead to some more concerts.
So how,
And
how do
also
you find
nowadays
concerts?
you can also, you have to just kind of to the times that are the fashion and everything, and it's basically now most of the people spend a lot of time on internet, so it's, yeah, presence on internet, social media is
Yeah,
how
you-
it works
you follow
today.
us,
Yeah, and
that's in
you
the-
see, yeah.
We come back to the first episode.
We don't now
Yeah.
compete, we're here. And,
Yeah, and are you planning to do stuff like this? Like, for example, recordings? Do you plan to do more of this? Is the preparation, how much is it different from doing concerts?
recordings,
Yeah.
like album recordings.
Albums or for internet, for example? Do you plan
Like
to?
professional videos and
Yeah.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or just like good quality stuff, like some people do?
Do you plan
Just
to
on
do
your
it
own.
more?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Albums, I think not. I plan to do it, but I think they're not so relevant as nowadays as videos, professional videos, like very short, really good videos and very well advertised. And it's just not for the sake of it being very well advertised, but I think it's just people need to see it, and you need to show them, like you need to present it to them in a good
For
way,
you,
and
is it an effort to be present on social media?
for me personally, yes, because it doesn't it doesn't come very naturally to me. I'm
We could say
very
this.
naturally very
We
yeah, you could say, yeah.
because we can't see
Yeah.
that much.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to what you can do.
because I don't really.
Yeah, you don't really like
Some
it.
people do it really more easily. To
Sure.
some people, I could even say that it comes.
And
I
have
don't
a
know if
question
more
for you.
naturally.
Yeah, because now
But-
we can see that Thibaut Garcia and Rafael Fayad, they have
Mhm.
like a whole team with them.
Yeah.
Do you plan to have one like them? Do you try?
I would love to.
What do
Actually,
you
to
think
some
we should
extent,
do?
I would love to. I would love to actually.
Is it
Absolutely,
the
of
same
course.
for you? Do you plan to have a team with you or?
A team.
Team. You mean
a
like?
team,
Yeah.
social media.
Social
yeah,
media team,
understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love that in a way that I don't enjoy doing it myself, just because I was studying all my life to how to play guitar the best, most efficiently, and wasn't really ever trained for that. And I like learning about it a bit, but it's just hard to concentrate on everything, and I just don't necessarily feel like doing
But have
it.
you been in contact or do you feel?
With something like that.
Yeah, or with people. I don't know with majors companies.
It feels like, because there are also two people that are from the country that you come from, and you know them probably personally very well, and it feels like, but there are two, I would say, how do you say that? Rare examples, like two exceptions.
Okay.
It's not really a rule. I don't know what the others would say, but it's not very common. I think they're they're deserved it 100%, but they're also very lucky to have that.
To have the opportunity to.
Yeah.
But maybe it will
So,
evolve. You don't
Maybe,
feel this?
yeah. I don't feel it. I mean, I don't know.
Maybe,
Hopefully,
Yeah.
but yeah. Also, you can of course work to do that, but I don't really
It's interesting because
actively
they are
work
French.
to do that. But huh?
They are French.
They're too French. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
maybe
true.
it's-
Yeah.
You have to ask for the nationality.
Traditionally, maybe. No, I don't think
You
it's
guys
because of
should.
that. But yeah.
Because for
They're fantastic players and they're very, very unique. So they also
they are,
kind of
but, I mean, it's relevant that you
they
would be
attracted something
same
like
place.
that.
in the same position you are actually.
I
But
guess to
maybe-
some extent, but yeah, a lot of things have to kind of align to have something like that, and yeah, it's really great what they have, and I would love that, but
If you are listening to us,
yeah, if anyone-
feel free to contact them.
no, but yeah, it's not so easy, and also once you have that, it's not easy to maintain it. So really, congratulations to them because it's not easy to keep up with that. What you were mentioning that you are not sleeping much, I believe for them it's kind of the same, if not worse nowadays, that they're having so many projects and all the time having to be alert and having to be available for whatever, and it's not easy also.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was experimenting all this time. I told myself, you know what, Yuja Wang, look at her, dude. Does she sleep well? I don't know. Like, there's no guarantee.
Those are even more extreme examples. Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
guarantee that those people sleep well.
Yeah.
In fact, they can tell you much more about how they sleep and whether they are able to fall asleep after the stuff that they go through. So, again, not an excuse. Everyone has to sleep well, right?
Everyone.
But at the same time, perfect conditions, do they exist? That's the question. You can create, you can always fight for perfect conditions for yourself. But yeah, if to talk about alternatives to competitions, I really encourage to understand that I may be showing a kind of like an example, or we are as competitors, because Lovra is a successful competitor, so he is also showing a successful example of someone.
Yes, yeah. Next winner.
Francisco is a very successful
he's a very-
competitor,
yeah.
especially today.
Especially
today.
today.
Yeah.
No, especially
Today
today,
in
yeah, because
specific.
you're constantly increasing your results because it's, you're
Yeah.
adding up. So kudos to that.
Okay, thank you.
But basically, it's not trying to give an example for everyone else to do that. It's just that some people want to do follow someone else, and which is totally okay. But let's say I have a more tendency to just lock onto something specific. So let's say if I play a piece, it's really difficult for me to stop playing or practicing a piece, which is you constantly do things on loop.
Okay.
It's a big question whether the things that I'm doing are even healthy. I try to make them healthy, or if I try to explain them to someone, such as advice, I would always tell them to use precaution, just in case I say something dangerous, such as play one specific thing in a row for 2 minutes or even 5 minutes can be actually damaging sometimes. And I went through this as well. It was one innocent thing that I've done for a couple of minutes straight, the same barre all the time after a little passage, then went for a walk, then came back, and actually I pulled my tendon, and it was fine after some time, but it
When was that?
when or what?
When?
That was more than 10 years ago. Before I discovered tendonitis, the real tendonitis that I came to after a series of unfortunate events. Because I actually had tendonitis again, a few days ago when I was still attempting
Starting with the
polyphony.
arrangement.
Yeah, because it was super fast and super polyphonic. So it comes back, but I just know how to keep it at bay, and I just I actually kind of cured it because I kept playing for a year after I got tendonitis 6 or 7 years ago. It was just a series of unfortunate events, because some people like to speculate that this is because of the toccata, and it's not the piece that gave me the tendonitis. It's the piece where actually I at some point would feel that my hands don't like me for doing some things, but I pulled my hand in a specific etude by Villalobos, the 7th one, because I played the trills with 3 fingers, and it annoyed me that they kept not working on stage while being fine
At home.
yeah. And it is a brain thing again, and I just tried to actually surpass that, and that was at the time when I had a sleep deprivation, 2 concerts, travels, and changed strings from normal to hard. because I thought, oh, it's going to be a competition. I need harder strings. And actually, this switch was very dangerous. And I did a stupid namaste pose at the namaste stretch at the end of the practice, which was the worst thing. But I had it as an advice from a very respectable guitarist, and I was like, yeah, let's do that. This
Whose
was probably
name will
the
not
end
be
of
pronounced.
everything. Yeah, I shouldn't be stretching like that. Since that, even if I stretch at all, I only stretch
It was
with
too
the.
much.
Right.
That is well, I think that was the last drop. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's because I didn't know my limits. Because it's not that I was limitless, but I definitely tried to look for alternative ways of increasing my
Limits,
power,
yeah.
something like that. But also, I didn't suffer from hurting myself from not.
Lovro, do you have a piece that you think that kind of makes you the piece that creates a bigger risk of getting injured? Do you have a piece like this in your program or something that you ever played like that?
Right now, not really. And if I would have a piece like that, I would
You'd
try
stop
to
playing.
not to play that much and not to practice it that much. And if I do practice, I would concentrate my practice on putting less effort in it and putting like kind of finding a way not to. For example, what the piece that was one of the, you mentioned that it's not a problematic piece for you. I played also toccata at some point, and I found it pretty demanding. I mean, it is. I put a lot of effort in it, kind of technically, and in both right, left hand in general, and I was basically working on that, and just actually working on that, with time it became easier and easier, but still, I didn't play it for as long as you did. And probably it would be more and more easy also with years if I would continue playing, if I would have continued. But I haven't, so it never actually came to a point where it was never easy. I never knew what's going to happen. And actually this uncertainty led me to not continue playing it, because I played it in 2 competitions only. One of which
I would love to hear that.
There. No, you were not there. It was in Heinsberg, but I think
there.
you were already you've done already that.
Sometime ago, so I
checked that from your list probably before already. But I was there, and it was not great. It was not a complete disaster, but it was kind of a disaster. I didn't play it well because of that. I didn't pass. But one competition before, it actually went pretty well, and for that it worked out. But the thing is that it's not very secure, it's not very certain, and it's also because of I realized that it's not worth for me, it wasn't at the time, but for you it worked out pretty well, so that's a good example. I would actually like to hear in general, not about toccata, but so I think
I wanted to talk about that, but
about toccata we can talk about that, but I was thinking because probably most of the people who are watching are guitarists mainly.
Yeah, I was going to talk about the inspirations, how it went.
And you were mentioning tendonitis and that you have problems with tendonitis. And I think it's
Useful
a very common and very important thing to talk about, and very common problem.
Yeah.
And not talked about enough. So what is your experience and what is your
remedy?
I mean, it's very hard to just say what is your one advice, but what is your in general?
Yeah, but I actually have only one advice.
Okay.
Only one advice.
Perfect.
This is the protein that I take, which is casein, isolate.
I remember that telling.
Yeah, I was telling that.
me.
I literally tell that to everyone, because when I had this problem, no one actually helped me, because they didn't know. And people were like, oh, you have to be easier. Oh, you have to be easier on yourself. Or you have to sleep better. Or you have to drink a lot of water. And this came from people that are knowledgeable. So which told me that if they know, these remedies won't help me. Basically, someone advised the gel with diclofenac, which is an anti-inflammatory, but I used it. I failed the competition with it.
Curing the
Exactly, the symptoms.
Already.
Basically, it reduces the inflammation and
preventing, really.
Yes, exactly. And I was like, well, you know what? If I reduce the inflammation, I may just as well keep hurting myself without really understanding that, which can be worse. So
It's
theoretically.
better to feel it.
It's better to know it, yes, because
Yeah.
actually I learned one thing about myself. I don't like to hurt myself. What's ironic, because I used to practice all the time. It's like with me, it's like a gym workout all the time. Basically, I just exhaust myself, and at the same time, I'm sensitive to some kinds of uncomfortable feelings that tell me that this is not going to go so well.
But don't
Which
you,
was
for
the
instance,
tendonitis.
instantly do some small breaks? Because that's what I can have with pieces that are very demanding.
I would
I
say
really just
taking
study
breaks is
like
good.
I really just study for like practice for like maybe 10-15 minutes.
Yeah.
Then I make another 5 minutes break, and then I
Yeah.
go back.
You
And
said
I think
it was
this
good, but
kind of
do you do
manages.
it?
Every couple of hours of
Yeah.
break between playing on
Every
loop
couple
the
of
same
hours.
piece by Bach or whatever is good.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
No, just kidding.
Fair enough.
But actually, what's even like what I love even more is that on top of the toccata, for example, there exists Bach for me, because the piano partita Bach, the one that I play number 2, because of the polyphony that just like, well, in my vision in the toccata, I somehow made it work, or it is maybe designed that way, that your tendons or your hands or fingers, they kind of like go in the same way. One of the biggest challenges for me in the toccata with like, regardless, is the mic okay?
You can move the mic a bit closer.
A little bit closer, yeah. Thanks, Seb. So basically, it's one of the biggest challenges of toccata, for example, is the using the big finger together with the rest of the fingers, because these contradicting motions are what are the limitation, the time, the speed limiters for me. This is the thing that gave me the biggest challenge.
Yes.
When
It was a
comes
lot
to
of small repetitive movements.
just like
so-
repeating a similar motion of those.
Yeah.
Was the biggest obstruction, actually, because some people told me like, I won't study the piece until I know how to play the harmonics. Some people play the harmonics like the harmonics and the double bass, which da 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 da, and then the harmonic just sounds at the same time. They told me that they didn't figure out exactly how to play that, and some performers do it with a double, even with a double motion of a thumb, which to me is like, I would probably be able to develop this skill, but really would take a lot of time. Didn't see it feasible. So I am doing just like separate fingers. I just found my fingering. But with the toccata, your hands, in my opinion, or I made this work, they go in the same direction. But in Bach, they go sometimes opposite directions like this. So when I'm practicing polyphony on Bach, I much faster burn out. So basically, me practicing the concerto while I was still making the ultimate version, attempt of an ultimate version, basically it's and then I actually was supposed to have under voices with the same passage. So it was supposed to, like, these under voices were supposed to slide, so we're supposed to go while the parallel intervals were all this was supposed to be with parallel intervals in a crazy tempo. This is how it was like in my mind, and maybe this is why it didn't work. It will take a long time, and probably after that long time it will still be unrealistic. Maybe I will turn it into a solo piece, because it is actually a continuous piece that doesn't stop. But I was just leading to the point where Bach is much more challenging. This kind of Bach is much more challenging to me than the toccata, just because of this even less of an ergonomical, I would say, thing. Although Rodrigo is considered an inconvenient composer, which was fun to me, because in a way I like to try to break his pieces in a way. It's not that I can, it's not that I think I can do this, whatever, but they are already a little bit broken. For example, Fandango, he does
What do you
some
mean by
broken.
break?
Yeah,
Is basically, you see that it's supposed to be inconvenient, and you go that way. For example,
So
in
you
the
think that the
toccata,
composer wrote it on purpose, inconveniently?
I think he just made it for, not for the humor, but for some, I wouldn't even call this quirkiness. I would call this kind of like, it's not a conflict, it's not a quirkiness, it's not,
You should have.
not exactly to make it special, but in a way it is a little bit,
We really have to.
Yeah, we have to stop it because
Otherwise,
we,
Lover won't get home.
Yeah.
So to
Lover won't
finish,
For me,
we
it's
have-
fine.
we have this one question, and we finish by this, if you guys don't mind. We would love
sorry,
to
Marco.
continue. but
Yeah.
No, it's okay.
Next
We have
time.
so much stuff to talk about. It's just
We should continue in the morning.
Tomorrow.
I
In
forgot
the morning.
about the time.
Let's go. So Mario is asking, apart from tendonitis, have you guys ever felt stuck mentally with a musical piece or etude?
Yesterday, today.
Yes.
Yeah, really.
But it was extreme conditions.
Yes.
Maybe it means with normal conditions.
With the
Like
toccata
you
as
have
well.
time to practice. You have time. Do you feel like stuck with pieces?
Me?
Yeah, you for example.
Yes, sometimes when it happens. Actually, lately, I would say that before when I was starting studying, it would happen more and more. Now, because I guess I choose pieces that I want to play more. I think
That
through
will fit
more
with-
that what I, yes,
Yeah.
not even what fits, but what I feel that I have something to say with, and then when I do, I think I have more or less pretty much an exact idea what I want to say, what I want to do with it, and then once I do, I'm happy with it. So I'm not very much. It doesn't happen a lot that I'm stuck, but it did definitely throughout my
pieces,
studies
for example, do you remember a particular piece?
that
And do you?
didn't work, that
Yeah.
I was stuck
Do you
mentally.
even have almost to stop?
If you
or-
can tell, because I have to think
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah,
Bach's
maybe you
piano
don't have-
partita, Bach's piano partita number 2. I had a very, very ambitious goal of learning the whole partita within 1 month for a competition in Iserlohn. I actually resorted to just learning the Sinfonia. So the Sinfonia was done in a month. I played it at the finals, whatever. And
Very tricky still to play.
yes, it actually became much more tricky because that time I performed it absolutely stable. And
Mhm.
then I started developing problems because this is basically you pick on yourself.
You feel this pressure of time?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so basically, every
You
time
have
I
to
design a
talk in
fingering
the- yeah, you are used to talk very fast for and
to
not
fill the time.
Yeah, to fill the time.
Exactly.
Again, you're under pressure.
Yeah,
I'm
again,
sorry.
ever, always you are. Yeah, sorry.
There is no time. Time is
there-
relevant.
But it will be very interesting to have you again. if
Yeah,
you-
let's
next time
try
you
to
come.
continue this conversation
Yes.
Yeah.
another
Yes.
time. Thank
This
you.
is the
Without
only
exam
question.
before.
We have more questions,
know,
but
it's
unfortunately
past
I don't
midnight.
have the time now.
Yeah.
We were a bit limited today, but maybe you guys can answer to me later, and I will answer to
Yeah.
our followers
We'll do
on Instagram.
Video. Yeah.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
let's say bye.
Thank
to
you for joining
everyone.
us.
Right. Yeah.
Everyone, thank you very much for being here. See you next time. Yeah.
Yeah, see
Thank you,
you.
guys.
Thank you, Lovro and Marco.
Seb.